Welcome to the Level Up Lounge, your cozy, chaotic corner of conversation where we delve into the worlds of gaming, pop culture, and mental health. My name's Anthony, and with me is Nick, and we hope you enjoy this episode. All right, here we are. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome to level 10 of the Level Up podcast. Level Up Lounge podcast. Wow,
Yeah.
I'm good at this.
You are.
As always, I'm here with Nick. Nick, how are you?
Good. A little bit sick, but
A little bit sick.
You get this in the change of weather.
It is what happens.
That's right. Look, you should have seen me like yesterday. I was so much worse.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I think I had like bright orange boogers.
Oh, yuck. It's
Yeah.
like radioactive.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, what is wrong with me? I did watch the first episode of that.
But today, we are very, very excited
Stacey.
to have...
Stace,
So?
you close that.
We're very, very excited to have Danny from Dreamteck Studio join us. How are we, Danny? Welcome in.
Welcome in.
Hello. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, good. Cold, actually, over here.
Are you? I'm
Yeah, I
feeling
am
pretty
a
good,
little
honestly.
bit.
What
I
is
am
it?
A little bit. First off, would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do,
It's only 11 degrees.
a little bit about Dreamteck as well.
All right, sure. Yeah, of course. Hi, everyone. My name is Danny. I'm a level designer, a game designer in a small studio based in Bulgaria, and we like to develop fun games, basically.
Nice.
I hope that they're fun, yeah.
We have had a look at both of
They
them,
do look fun.
and they do look really fun. We'll have a proper talk about those later as well, and sort of what's going on with the newer one. But yeah, like I said, thank you so much for joining us. It's absolutely awesome.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
No worries at all. Let's jump into the gaming news.
Yeah?
Did you want to start?
You can go first. You
Okay,
can go
I'll
first.
go first. Mine's pretty basic. But I'd like to think it's pretty interesting. IKEA.
I did read something about this. I was going to bring it to the table, but I was like, no, mine ties into the conversation better, I think.
IKEA, the furniture store. Furniture store?
Yeah,
guess-
well, I'd say they're an overall furniture store.
Yep.
Easy to
are
assemble
bringing
furniture.
Out a line of gaming specific furniture.
Do you have to build yourself?
Well, it's IKEA.
That's kind of cool. Do
It is kind of cool.
you reckon I have a meatball themed one?
Maybe. I looked into it a little bit. It looks like a whole bunch of like bean bags and then some tables and TV stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But it's all themed. So like it's got
RGB team.
all right. Yeah, it's got a fair bit of RGB as well. Are you all right?
Good.
Yeah. Do you want some water?
No, I've got water.
Okay. That's not water. You need to hydrate.
There's water in
Okay.
that. There's some water in that.
Yes, there's some RGB with it as well. The bean bags look to be like red, yellow, blue, and green. So like pretty.
Are they like big beanbags or are they like those little tiny ones?
They look like they're comfy enough.
Like the ones
if
that
you
you
sit in them,
see,
they sort of wrap around you.
like the ones you see in those beanbag meetings.
Yeah, kind of.
I'd buy that.
Kind of.
We should get them and turn it into the beanbag podcast.
The beanbag, the level up beanbag. I swear the name of the
It
podcast
does, yeah.
changes every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, ditch the table. That's my news. That's all.
You can
That's
fill
all
up
I've
your
got.
shed with furniture and stuff.
There's a lot of news happening at the moment, but that was my main one because I was like, I'm surprised the amount of companies that are trying to get into gaming these days.
I'm not.
You know,
It's a really big market, and it's a market that's not going to go away.
yeah, that's fair.
Especially with like the way the technology's going and the way that the gaming technology is moving. I don't think gaming will go away anytime soon.
Yeah,
So
That's
like
fair.
it makes sense for companies trying to get into
trying
it,
to get into it. Yeah,
get in touch
with the gamers.
with the gamers, yeah. Or the people just living their lives like normal people, you know.
That's my news
With the money
anyway.
out, with the money out.
Do you happen to have any news, Danny? Anything that you're excited about, or any games coming out you might want to talk about?
Yeah, I've been excited about Supergiant Games are doing the technical playtest for Hades 2. And I've been
Oh
following
yes, I
that.
did see that.
Yeah,
I did hear
looks
something about Hades
pretty
2.
interesting. Yeah, it looks good. It looks good. and of course it's gonna be good from Supergiant. I have no doubts about it. But another game that I saw released, I think yesterday or today, very early in the morning, is the people behind Ori and the Blind Forest, Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
I did
Just
enjoy
released
that.
their the new game. What was it called? No Rest for the Wicked. Yeah, No Rest for the
Mhm.
Wicked.
Oh, yes, yep.
And it looks absolutely gorgeous. I mean,
Is that? I'm gonna have to look that one up. Is that the single bullet gun game?
I'm
No.
not sure. No, I don't think so. It's from the creators of Ori and the Blind Forest, and it's action RPG. So kind of top down perspective. It looks stunning. It's called
Oh,
No Rest
this
for the
Ah,
yes,
yes,
Wicked.
I did see
I have
this.
seen this. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm getting it completely mixed
Confused
up
with something else. Yeah, I did see a mini trailer for that. It does look like a lot of fun. I don't remember anything
yeah. Those
about
are
it,
the
but other
two
than I was
games.
like,
They're
Yeah, those are the two games I'm looking very closely.
that's completely different to
what you were thinking?
Ori.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
Because Ori's like a really chill, not necessarily super chill, but like side scroller style game.
Yeah, yeah,
Or at least the one that I played was, because I played
Um,
it on the mobile device when it was on that.
yeah. Because I remember it's very atmospherical.
Yes, yeah, very, very much so.
And you know, really nice colors, really nice landscapes and whatnot.
Music was
And then
phenomenal.
this looks more like a you know, an action RPG. It's
It does, yeah.
top down, almost Diablo-esque.
Mhm.
Esque,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Ask, yeah.
Yeah, no, that looks really good. I hadn't even heard about that, so thanks for bringing that one. That's
Yeah, it looks very interesting. I am very very keen to try it on.
Oh, definitely.
wow.
As
The
soon as I
atmosphere
get
in that one
some
looks
time
amazing
on
as
my
well.
hands. Yeah,
It does. It does look really
The
pretty.
environments look.
That's the issue, isn't it?
The
Not enough time to
environments.
play all the games.
environment. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
They do
the
environments
environments
well.
look
Wow.
really good. Yeah.
There's enough time to play all the games. There's just not enough time to invest into the games to enjoy them.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But Hades too, on that note, I'm going to go for a little bit of a side step here.
Yeah, it's okay.
I did see, just talking about sort of roguelike indie games, I did see that a game that I've been playing recently, Slay the Spire, has had number 2 announced as well.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Which I'm excited about. It's not overly, you know, it's not atmospherical like Ori or...
That's the card one, isn't it?
Yeah, but I've really been enjoying it. And I've seen...
I still have to play that one. I still haven't got the chance to play it.
It's so good. It's so good. If you like just sitting back and sort of...
Thank you.
Well, not really sitting back. It's a relaxing one where you can sit back, but at the same time, the strategy that's involved in trying to move through it is quite in depth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching you play it for a little bit. Like, it's not my kind of game, but at the same time, I can see why it appeals to people.
Yeah.
It's
So
like Stacklands. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of Stacklands, but I can understand why people love it.
What have you got today?
See, mine sort of ties into game development and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I was reading a thing. So the I don't really know how you describe it. A report came out. They did a survey of around about 600 game developers and combination game developers on how they feel about the current business model of live service gaming.
Yes.
And how they see sustainability and where it's going to be going. And from what I was reading of the report and like the response, I think it was about 70% of them, or at least that's what the article is stating, were like, it's going to fail.
Yeah.
Like, we're really worried about this model of gaming and we want to try and move away from it. So they're apparently predicting that they're going to see a rise in the paid DLC style making a bit of a comeback, which would be I really like that because I'm happy with paying for DLC. That's fine.
I might let what's
But
your
yeah,
thoughts
that was leading into my very first question for the podcast is how do you feel about that? Like, what's your opinion on the live service model and how it affects you as a developer? Jumping right into the hard questions.
me as a developer, it doesn't affect me that much. Like, people are free to choose their business model. That's definitely their thing. But what I'm gonna say is, live service games can be done very good and can be
Oh, they
done very
definitely can.
bad. There's two extremes there, and um, yeah, I'm not completely in agreement with that statement that it's gonna go away. I think probably that's gonna go for the future with streaming services becoming more and more prevalent. I don't see a reason. Like, devices are getting stronger. That's one thing, but there's gonna be like libraries of games for kind of like rent.
Yeah, similar to the Game
And
Pass and the PlayStation Plus.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely, yeah. I think that's where the industry is going, in my humble opinion.
yep.
Little by little, live service games probably are gonna take over. Although I'm not the biggest fan of them. But
I think
yeah,
the article was saying that, like, just giving a brief read right now, that players and people are going to lose interest in the live service model because,
It's
like,
possible.
obviously the younger generation, like my kids and like your kids growing up, probably more than likely going to play Roblox or whatever is big at the time that is a live service model. Like the article that I read earlier quoted like GTA 5, Roblox, those sorts of games that are in-app purchases and are really, really popular. But like, we're not seeing a rise in new games that are capturing the people's attention in that way.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's where, like, going a little bit on what you're saying is there's multiple ways of live service.
Oh,
right?
definitely.
So, for instance, the Game Pass, the PlayStation Plus.
Like, I personally think it has its place because from time to time, I love using the Game Pass. Like,
yeah, but that's different from saying like a single game that's live service. You're paying for that game and you get no access to like anything else really.
like World of Warcraft, you pay for your subscription.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah.
unsustainable because at some point, well, I know Warcraft's been around for a while,
Yeah,
but
going on 20 years.
for other people who aren't addicted to Warcraft,
Well, fine.
getting
attacked.
into it is hard, as you've seen with me.
Yeah,
I want to play it. Oh man, do
we
I
just don't
want
have
to
the
play World of
time.
Warcraft?
Like, I don't
Not
have the
just
time
that,
to play it either.
I don't want to spend X amount of money per month on a game that I don't know whether I'm going to continue playing.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm like when we did that first couple of runs, like I paid for your sub,
Yeah,
just to give you a bit of a taste.
Yeah.
Or we could have done the recruit a friend, which I think is a thing that I get bonuses as well, which is really nice. But
No.
like I think it'll stick around. It just I really would like to see the rise in DLCs again because that's what I grew up on, and I think it
Yeah.
works.
No, I'm in agreement.
Yeah,
But
like obviously
I
the
do
live
think-
service has its place, but
I do think the renter game will stick around
oh, that won't go anywhere. No,
because that's fantastic.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of
yeah,
games
that's not
that
going anywhere.
yeah, no, it's too good of a deal. 10 like, Game Pass wise, like 12 bucks and you've got access to a library of like man, I don't even
Yeah.
know at this point in time.
oh, Game Pass has got hundreds of games.
Yeah. And it's the same with PlayStation Plus.
Yeah,
And they bring out the classic model. And they bring out the retro games on
Yep.
like Nintendo have got the retro games. You pay $10 or whatever it is, and you get access to a massive retro library. Same on PlayStation, same on Xbox. That's fantastic. But like paying for
the only
you're
Go
right, you go.
the only unknown I'm sorry, the only unknown thing for me right now with the subscription based service is how do developers make money,
Yes.
and how does that whole ordeal work in general? Because if you have 20 games, like easy, you get a cut from the subscriptions and whatnot. But if you have 5,000, 5 million,
Yeah. How much are you getting
like
from it?
how much are you getting from it? Is it sustainable? How much of a player base you need to have in order to make money? So that would
Yeah.
that would dictate what kind of games you make. You can't make certain games that are not played a lot, because if it's based on playtime, well, you're not gonna be having a sustainable income, and that's gonna be an issue for a lot of developers.
Yeah, because a
I'd
lot of
lo-
that subscription money would be going towards paying for the service, like paying for the servers, and obviously
Yeah.
you'd be taking a small wage out of every every subscription. But
Well, I'd love to see what the stats on that is on, say, like Game Pass.
Oh, yeah.
So something like, what's big on there, like the Elder Scrolls stuff that's on there at the moment. I've got
definitely.
it. I'm not even playing it. I've downloaded it though. I'm not playing Skyrim, but I've got the Game Pass version on my PC. But then looking at other things like, maybe an indie game that's just come out, hasn't got a lot of hype. Are they getting paid per person who downloads?
Oh yeah, no, that'd be interesting to find out.
Are they getting paid to have it on there for free? Because that's I don't know.
I think there's some sort of, depending on, I don't know. I don't. Yeah.
Maybe there's like a baseline that you get
Like,
paid, and then
I want to speculate, but at the same time, I don't want to be wildly wrong
yeah, that's fair.
for the first time in my life.
No, I agree, because that makes, like, especially for indie games,
Yeah.
if you're trying to do a launch and you've agreed to put it up somewhere and your game's free elsewhere,
Yeah, exactly.
it's like,
See, the only problem, one of the biggest problems, I should say, not the only problem with the live service, like the Game Pass and stuff, is what was a game that we were super excited about? Was it Nightingale that came out on the Game Pass? No.
yeah, we bought it, and then 3 days later,
Yeah, and I think excuse me, there was another game that I bought. I paid $90 for it, and then 2 days later, it was out on the Game Pass.
yeah.
Like, I'm okay with games going to the Game Pass. Got no problem with it because it's good. It's how people access games. Couldn't care less. But at least give it a week.
Yeah, or sometime.
Like, at least give it a week.
Yeah.
Don't release the game like on launch for $80, $90 AUD. That's a lot of money for a game.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the day after, release it on the Game Pass without, I wouldn't necessarily say no warning, but like, that screwed me over so many times because I could have just paid for the Game Pass, which is like $10 a
Well, I've
month.
already
And
got it.
Yeah.
I pay for it every month.
I pay for it month by month because I just don't care enough, and I don't play enough of the games.
I'll buy a game, and then the
It'll come out
2-3
Game
days later
Pass.
it'll come out, and I'm like, I should have just waited. But how do you know?
No,
You could be
exactly. But
waiting
like,
the
that's
whole
what I
month.
mean. Like,
Yeah.
they need to give it at least a week or two's. Like, I know people want to play it,
Yeah.
but there's the people who are paying a premium amount for it, and then there's the people who are paying $10 a month, and they're like, how does this balance out? I guess you could say.
Yeah. No, 100%.
But how does that lead into our other questions, Anthony?
Well,
What do we got?
So, gang news aside, we'd like to talk to you a little bit about your time with gaming, as well as sort of the game development department. I know I'm relatively what's the word?
Not ambiguous.
No.
Inept?
Well, I don't know.
Uninformed?
Much about it. Yeah, uninformed, I guess. Uninformed.
Yeah, ambiguous isn't the word.
I know some people who went into game developing courses, but none of them ever finished.
Right. Yeah.
And I've
It's
chatted to
pretty
a
tough
few.
business.
Pardon?
It is a pretty tough
It is
business.
a very tough. Yeah, tough business.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not
Well,
easy to
yeah.
make it.
Even people who I know one person who did get through the course, and then they tried to get jobs or do something themselves, and it's just they haven't.
No, of course, and obviously being in Australia, like, it's also a hard market to get into over here because I don't think there is a few gaming companies that are,
There's a lot more now.
but at the same time, it's nothing compared to like the UK and the US and stuff,
Yeah.
and like China and all that.
Well, my first question for you is, what's your history with gaming? What did you start out with?
Well, so my history, like, I have always been a gamer, right? I've played all my life all sorts of dumb video games, MMOs and whatnot. And when I decided off of school that I'm gonna do like IT stuff, I didn't really know what I was going to do. But about at the end of my bachelor's degree, I decided, fuck IT, I'm just gonna do game dev.
Yeah.
And I started to learn a thing or two about. I was very interested in level design. That's where I started.
Yes.
And I started with that. So I made a couple of little projects. I made an island of some sort for a Far Cry type of game, and
Oh, nice.
I've always made these little projects that unfortunately got lost in a horrible accident.
Yeah, that tends to happen with our little projects that
Yeah,
we love.
our little project. A laptop fell. It didn't
Oh
survive.
no! Oh no!
Yeah.
Was that an intentional laptop
And
fail or?
no. Like the backpack fell from when I was walking down the
Ah.
stairs.
Mhm,
Oh
mhm.
no!
Yeah,
That's even
I think
worse.
It is, yeah.
I think a strap broke, and I wasn't paying attention. I was with headphones, and something like that happened.
I thought it
The
might have
same thing
been.
happened to
But
Virgo at uni. He
Ah,
had his backpack on, and one of the straps broke, and it just slipped off of him,
huh.
and then smashed a laptop
Oh no.
in the car park. Yeah.
yeah.
So I thought it might have been like, some of
To
your
be
very
fair,
first YouTube videos. You're hiding them.
the laptop was okay, but like a week after, the hard disk just stopped working, so I
Yeah.
had to
Yeah, of
get a new
course.
one.
Yeah, too much damage and.
I tried to salvage whatever I could, but not much could be salvaged from that hard
Yeah.
drive. But oh well.
It is what
And
it is, isn't it?
then my friend, he's in the chat right now, Mitko. He's the head of the Dreamteck Studio. So
Oh, nice.
we've known each other since 8th grade, and I hit him up and said, "Hey, I kind of want to do this. Can I get uh, something? Just point me in the right direction."
Hmm.
And he was very kind. He was very cool about it, and said, "Yeah, sure, come here. I'll teach you a thing or two what I know." And more or less 2017, I started to like part-timing as level designer, and I was learning stuff, getting my foot in the door. And about 2019, we got a sweet deal from Apple, to be on their Apple Arcade platform.
Yep.
Yeah,
I remember that
they
Apple
took
Arcade
me out
actually.
of pity. Yeah. Yeah, and they did teach me. Mitko did teach me a lot of stuff about level design, and that's where I got my foothold in the game dev industry. And from there on, I started to learn more and more, and of course, honing my skills, making more stuff, and eventually, we got into releasing our game on Apple Arcade. It's
Hmm.
Life Slide, the paper adventure game,
It looks
and
like a
we
lot of
scaled up.
fun.
We became Well, I really adore it. It was really fun to make the levels for it and experiment with all the little things that I've learned about game development and about human psychology and how they interact with video games and whatnot, which is the interesting part about game and level design.
Oh, of
It's meeting
course.
humans.
Yeah, you got to be able to retain the people and want them to have look at the environment and be like, this is either like really really amazing, or have them absolutely scared shitless because they don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I will say actually, that's I like the fact that you did research into it. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And now I understand because I've I haven't purchased Lifeslide yet, but I am looking to get it because I have spent a lot of time sitting there staring at the trailer for it, just watching it going.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's
in
so
the
pretty.
tag it's listed as a roguelite, and I
No,
think
that's the other one.
oh no, it's the other one. What's
Yeah.
the country
That's the-
upgrade you get
No,
like boosts and
no,
stuff?
that's Overriders.
Ah, that's the paper
Last
plane
the
one.
paper plane one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what
sorry,
we're
I'm
talking
getting them
about.
mixed
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
But either way, like they both look like it's fun. But the airplane one, like, Anne had it up on the TV before, and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
let's go.
I could lose
This is
hours
beautiful.
doing this.
Give me that
Yeah.
airplane.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We've already mentioned it, but so your role is level designer.
Yeah. Game
So
and level designer. I
was
started
that
as a level designer, and I'm transitioning into more of a multiple hat wearing roles as
Yep.
indie game studio. Like there's one guy for like 3 jobs.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
so level
yeah.
designer is that can you give us sort of a brief overview of what both of those do? So what for instance, what do you do as a level designer?
All right, yeah. So a level designer's job is to make the world and environment feel cohesive and fun to play. And that's the most important thing, fun to play. It doesn't need to be accurate. It doesn't need to be um, flashy, let's say. It needs to be fun to play. Most of the time, as a level designer, I work with gray cubes. That's
Hmm.
like 80% of it. So if you pull up a level from Lifelight, you're gonna see this beautiful terrain and whatnot, and trees and rocks and whatever. I deal with cubes. For the most part, that level was as fun to play with cubes as it is with environment, and that's where you need to. Uh, that's that's the that's the hard part of level design, figuring out, okay, this needs to play the way it needs to play. For example, you need to be scared here. What kind of tools do I get? Do I get sound design? Yes, I do get sound design. Um do I get a free open world? Maybe not. Maybe the game doesn't need open world. uh, how do you deal with that? How do you make the player feel like blocked in and on the back foot, for example,
Hmm.
Yeah.
to induce those emotions and to make that level work the way it needs to be.
Yeah, of course. Which would
So yeah, most
tie
of the
into your
time
research
I'm
there.
I'm working. Yeah, it is a lot of research, one, and it is a lot of knowing how to how to create something to induce a certain emotion.
Yeah, of course.
That's
Which
the abstract part of level design that nobody
that
nobody sees at all.
that wouldn't be an easy thing to do either, because obviously there's a lot of
It
games
involves
out
a lot
there
of
and
working.
a lot of work, a lot of research, a lot of looking into it, finding out what works, what doesn't work. Also working out your target audience so you know who you're trying to
Yeah,
appeal to. Like if you're trying to lure in some ADHD people, that you want it to be, or at least for me, it's attention grabby. Things have got to stand out. I've got to be being able to hyper focus on something in the distance. I mean, like I'm going to get to that target,
yeah.
or like in a roguelite, not a roguelite. What are those sides? Is it a roguelite? The side scrollers where you upgrade your tools and stuff, your weapons.
Yeah,
Depends.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Like some of those, like a really, there's one that I like to play, and it's really really flashy, and just you upgrade your skills, and I like the
What's it called?
uh, what is it called? I might. Oh no, I don't have it anymore because I got a new. Actually, at the moment, the one I've been playing is called Space. Don't open it. Space Defenders, and it's you got your idle tower, and the enemies come in, but you gain experience.
Tower defense.
Tower defense, but more of like your progressive upgrading,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
upgrade your weapons and abilities, and then all the more and more monsters come, and your abilities get stronger and stronger, and
Yeah.
eventually,
So progression based.
yeah, you
Yeah,
level
yeah,
up your stuff, and
Yeah,
you've got like this
progression.
uber tower, and like that. Personally, I don't know, I just love them.
That's
Yeah,
I'm the same. I'm the same.
Yeah,
And I can't imagine the amount of research that goes into figuring out.
no, exactly.
Yeah, target audience would be a massive one.
yeah,
Because
Excuse
I
me.
know in high school, it's nowhere near the level of what you guys do. But in high school, I made a video game with some friends in our IT course. Very, very basic.
I made a Stickman one.
But it didn't cater to anyone except for us.
Yeah, no, exactly.
It
Yeah.
was a whole bunch of inside jokes. There was the characters were pretty much lifeless, and we had given them names but never mentioned any names.
Yep.
So they were very personable to us. And then I remember our IT teacher was awesome, and he was just like, look, it works, so you pass, but I have no idea what the fuck I was just looking at. He's
I
like,
don't know what this
what
is.
happened just there. And so yeah, it takes
It takes a lot of work.
yeah, and it's a lot harder. I guess I haven't done it, but it's a lot harder than what some people think.
Oh, definitely.
And what about
yeah.
game
And most of
development?
the time, people. Sorry, what?
What about game development? So moving on from level development, so game development. You said you've put on that hat recently as well. So what's entailed with
Yeah,
game development?
game design.
Game design,
Well,
yeah, sorry.
game design. Yeah, game design is a very much like a hat over level design. So it does the same kind of stuff, but on even more abstract level. So, for example, you said progression systems. That's for example, what I'm doing as a game designer. I'm figuring out a progression system. How would that work? In what setting? For what players? Uh, how frequent the upgrades need to be? How impactful should they be? How much time do you spend in a level or in the game? How does that compare to a full run or a half run? And figuring those things out allows me to craft an experience for the player that hopefully would be enjoyable for them. And tinkering with that progression system would would yield a certain uh, emotion. For example, the joy of discovery. For example, if you start to lay out some things from the progression system and you try to discover, oh, that works with that, I've laid it out months or years before players figured it out. So
Yeah.
I have crafted something and I've let people discover it. I've set it aside and I was like, yeah, I'm going to let that. I'm not going to explain any of it. I'm not going to explain how, for example, in Overrider mods work. I'm just not going to let the player immediately access that information. And I'm
Yeah.
just going to do, if you accidentally equip those mods together, they start to, I call it synergy. A lot of other game designers call it as synergy, so that's what I got the name. But people discover stuff, and if the thing they discover is immediately understandable, they feel really good about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The human brain loves nothing more than recognizing patterns and discovering stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
very much so. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
It's a lot of the games that I play are oh well, look at Magic or even Slay the Spire actually. Speaking about the synergy thing, when you find something that works and it works well, it's that hit of
Yeah.
dopamine like
But it's also one of those things that you know that this works, so you're going to go back to it because
yes,
you're like,
yeah,
all right,
yeah.
this is a combination that works really well.
But
Let's
then
do
once
that.
you find that first one,
Yeah.
then you start searching. You're like, what else can I do?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it opens that I want to
Yeah.
progress to unlock more stuff so that I can try new things.
So I want to
Exactly.
ask.
And the immediate
Sorry, go on.
question that follows that, the immediate question that follows that is these two things here work, right? In that box.
Mhm.
Over that box, there's little two things. I wonder if they work too. So immediately people go, oh, all right, I'm gonna try that next. And then I'm gonna try the third thing,
Yeah.
and the fourth thing, and the fifth thing. And before you know it, you just lost like 5 hours
Yes.
just tinkering with a progression system that is neatly crafted. And that's the neat part about game design. That's what makes it fun, seeing players experience your game and finding things about your game that you've done deliberately for that person or for that group of people. And it's just really joyful to see your plan execute the way it does. It's
Yep.
really fun.
Excuse me. So I want to ask a slightly what I would consider a heavier question, which isn't really on the list.
Sure.
I've just thought of it. And this is more designed aimed at the company itself, and like you guys obviously being developers and stuff. When it comes to feedback, how do you handle positive and negative feedback? Like people who are just hating on the game because they think you're a piece of shit, and then you've got the people who are like, this has made my day. Like, this is the kind of game that I love to play. Like, how do you guys, as a studio and as people,
Right.
sort of handle and deal with that?
Well, I had a Facebook uh, a Facebook reel show to me recently that I've saved about a Valve developer in an interview saying, "There's nothing more humbling than watching a clueless QA stumbling around your level."
Yeah.
So, yeah, negative feedback is always hard to hear. Like you've worked 6 months on a thing, and a person comes in, this thing's shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's really easy. Yeah, it's really easy to go off, well, whatever, right? But you need to be analytical about it. You need to be self-aware as well, because
Hmm.
you're not the greatest game dev there will ever be, and
Yeah.
like you're not a miracle worker, so you're gonna make mistakes. And you need
Mhm.
to be self-aware and say, okay, what mistake did I did there? What made the player feel this way? What why does he say those certain words? Because people want to intentionally tell you more than they intend to,
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
of the time. And you just need to listen and very carefully analyze what that tester or that person is saying, and you'll find more information that way. And you just need to keep it not personal, because
Mhm.
it's not an like 99% of the time it's not an attack on the developers,
Mhm.
uh,
Hmm.
unless we are a triple A company with a track record of releasing broken games
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
on a yearly basis. Yeah,
Yes, yes,
yeah.
yes.
So
So
that's not
unless
any.
you're
That's not
yeah,
actual
we're
AAA.
not that big
Yeah.
yet. We're
No,
not
I don't
no.
know
there
who that
yet.
is.
Being a AAA game, they wouldn't release trash. What are you talking about?
Yeah, yeah,
Repetitive
They-
trash.
No, like I like being able to take a step back of it and realize, hey, they're not actually hating on me as a person. They're just angry
absolutely.
at the game
It
for
could be
something inside the game that they didn't enjoy or just didn't have fun with.
it
So
could be
they're
multiple things, because there's been times where I've played a game and I really love it. And then you go into the review section and you see people just absolutely trashing it, and it could be about nothing.
I do
It
my
could
best
be
not to read game reviews these days because I want to try the game and experience it
yeah,
myself.
it could be something like didn't work on my computer. This is the worst game ever. It's like, what computer have you
Yeah.
got? I'm playing it on a laptop from the 1960s.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's not the game devs. It's not their problem.
No,
That's your
that's
problem.
a you problem. That's
And
a
they're like,
user error.
nah, game is trash. It should be
Yeah.
optimized for everything. It's like, well, it's not going to be optimized for a toaster, mate.
It's like Ark when it first came out. Like it was trashly optimized. But me and most of my friends who played it at the time were playing it on trash potatoes.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
like we knew that we had to play on extra low.
yeah.
Otherwise it wouldn't work.
And look, and sometimes you're fine with it being trash. If
Yeah.
you know your computer's trash and you know you can only run it on the lowest settings,
Yeah.
that's a thing that you've got to come to the conclusion of.
For
But
me-
then going on and then blaming the devs about it, it's that whole that meme online of the guy riding the bike
And
and then he
sticks
sticks the stick in the spoke and falls off, and he's like, "Damn you, Ubisoft!"
me as myself as a person, I don't leave reviews unless like I've either genuinely enjoyed the game or I've had some genuine constructive or negative feedback.
Yeah.
Because I give a game a solid go, and if I don't enjoy it, 9 times out of 10, I just won't play it again. I won't leave a review.
Yeah.
But if like I play a game and I loved it, but it was broken, I'll leave a review.
Yeah, I only do it if it's broken.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Or at least have it a genuinely broken experience.
if I don't like a game, I'm not saying that it's a bad game.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying it's not for me.
Like I personally really like the reviews that are like, hey, this game isn't bad. And then they list all the bad experiences they've had, but they're like, at the end of the day, I had fun with it.
Yeah.
But if you could try and fix these things, please, please do.
Yeah.
You've
I know I've sort of derailed your questions a little bit with that one.
yeah, you did.
I want to jump in.
Go for it.
I want to jump in and say about optimizing. There's a really neat thing. You get Steam surveys, so you get a machine with the specs that all the people have, with the most common GPU, with the most common CPU.
Mhm.
You have that in the studio, and you test on it, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the optimizing. Like if you can get a 60 FPS target, for example, and you said, all right, or whatever, just let it be 30 FPS target, because you have a card game. You don't need 60 FPS. Why would you need that for?
Yeah.
So you can crank up the visuals, make the textures really crisp, have the whole experience targeted at 30. Nobody's gonna complain.
Well, aren't most
And
Xbox games
if
ported at 30 frames these days? Or have they changed that?
most of the
No,
console
no idea.
most
Yeah.
of the console games are ported to 30, yeah.
Yeah, because I think most TVs only run at
They
30
are.
frames. Because that's the same with movies. Movies are targeted for about 30 frames a second.
Honestly, playing on consoles for most of my life.
Oh, I've had no issue.
I never really had an issue, and
Nope.
I've heard a lot of people being like, "Yeah, but I can run like 60 frames per second and up," and I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Like the console's specifically designed and optimized for this game at this level on this thing, whereas
Yeah.
the computers are, I guess you technically could say, an unoptimized machine that you can have a 160 hertz monitor next to a 60 hertz monitor next to an 80 hertz monitor.
Yeah.
Like, which one are you going to play it on?
Yeah, and going across to the PC, like I remember a few people when they found out I was getting a PC, they were like, "Oh, you're never going to go back. You're never going to go back to consoles." Well,
I haven't, because my computer's been good enough that I haven't needed to until recently.
I have. I've got every console.
I've also only recently bought myself a TV, so you know.
Every console since almost every console. I'm not including Sega or
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Since the NES, apart from the Wii. No, I've got the Wii. Sorry, apart from the GameCube and
Need to get one of those.
the newest Xbox.
I haven't got the newest Xbox either, yeah.
Because there's just something nice about sitting down.
They never released a
On
Halo
a
model, so I
couch.
never bought it.
Sitting down on a couch with a controller in hand and just relaxing.
Every
Something nice about it.
every Xbox I bought so far has been the Halo model.
Oh, really?
And then the newest Xbox, they didn't release a Halo model, so I didn't get it.
I don't have a console, but I do enjoy some. I have a little Android box for the TV.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When I stream games from it on the TV.
Yeah, of course.
And I really like the experience of like laying down on the couch, kicking my feet up, and just
Mhm.
playing a story-driven game or something that's not very demanding on the mechanical side.
Yeah.
For
Yeah, I'm the
example, I
same.
can't play Rocket League on the TV.
It's why I've
Rocket League
got
on the TV is a no-go.
it's why I've got the controllers down here. So we've got the lounge over this side.
Mhm.
And if I'm feeling it, I'll sit down on there and I'll HDMI into my TV, and then I'll just play a story game with controller from my PC, and that's perfectly fine.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like there are games that I play with a controller. I just haven't had one recently.
Yeah.
Like,
I think the last one I did was Elden Ring.
yeah,
Which
is fair.
Which I can't play with a keyboard, so
Get
can't
good.
do it.
Get good. I can't play with a keyboard either.
So what have you worked on any other projects outside of outside of, I'm getting my words mixed up, Life Slide, not Landslide. Life Slide and Overrider?
I personally have not, but the studio is doing outsourcing stuff, so they have worked on multiple projects for clients.
Yep.
Maybe I will be working on a project, but that's too new to discuss.
To say anything, okay.
Mhm,
Okay.
Still
Secrets,
That's a
uncertain, yeah.
secret.
Yeah,
That's a secret.
It's
No,
a
that's fine.
secret, yeah.
What was have you got any memorable, this is a really poorly worded question. Do you have any sort of challenges early days of your journey in game development that you remember? That's why I say memorable. Like, was there any real big challenges in that the early days of you trying to get into game dev?
Could you also word that as any sort of big milestones, like big turning points?
You could do, yeah, same thing. Yep.
Because that'd technically be a memorable
Well,
moment. It's all right. Try not to die over
memorable
here.
moments in my yeah. Good luck. Memorable moments in my game dev career. I'm not really sure what would classify as a memorable moment, but memorable moment for me was when we were included in the E3 showcase a couple of years back. In the showcase, and when we released on Apple Arcade, that was also a memorable moment. We were very proud of that. In terms of difficulties I have faced, it's an everyday struggle. It's not something that can be pinpointed to a moment or
Mhm.
something, but it is like getting feedback from people and seeing them experience the game and doing it over and over and over again. You kind of get a feel from for what you're trying to hear, what you're trying to see, what sort of information is important or can be discarded as something personal. That kind of like the first time we did it, a bigger playtest with people or our friends, family, and whatnot. That was pretty memorable. Uh, we had a whole setup in the office where people playtested live slide, and we had a like a small little get together party celebrating our game,
That's awesome.
Yeah,
preparing
that
I
would have been
love
cool
that.
as. Like, I love
Yeah.
was it you said the EA showcase? Like, that would have been, tuning in and seeing your game pop up on the big screen would have been like, holy
yeah,
shit. That's like a we've
yeah,
made it
and
sort of moment, you know?
yeah, and at the same time, the whole chat is was filled with mobile game Resident Sleeper. So
Yeah, that'll happen, won't it?
yeah, but we had
What?
some fun with it. We
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
yeah, go ahead.
Man,
Now my throat's getting a little bit tickly.
Good.
What are you doing to me
good.
over here?
Take it away from me. Take it away.
What about prior to like that in between stage of finishing your course? Was there a point prior to getting with Dreamtech, or prior to contacting your friend? Was there a point in there where you kind of just were like, where do I go? What do I do?
What do I do with my life?
Oh,
Like,
of course, yeah, absolutely. I was working a call center job for maybe the past like 3 years or maybe four, and at some point I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have any idea what to do, how to do it, or where to go from here. So I had to really sit with myself and ask the big questions. What do you love to do? I love gaming, so can I get into game dev? Or I was always twirling with the idea of streaming, but I'm not. I still haven't pulled the cord,
yep.
bite the bullet,
I'm
or
trying
whatever
to.
it's called. Yeah, so there was a moment in my life where I was like, yeah, I don't know what to do. I just need to sit with myself and answer the big questions. And I felt game development was the thing I was gonna go for, and I wanted to go for it. So I just arranged everything I could in order to get that to happen.
Yeah, which is awesome.
I want the next one.
Congratulations for actually going through with it.
I
Thank
want the
you.
next one.
Are you on the next one?
Yeah.
All right, you take it.
I'm gonna ask you another question.
Sure.
It's a bit. I like this one because it's a little bit personal for me because that's something that Daniel has been watching a lot of videos. My son has been watching a lot of videos on and trying to sort of. He's been asking me like how does he sort of get into it? It's any tips for anybody looking to get into game development, how they might go about it, sort of resources they might look into or use. Like he's 8 and he's like, this is something like he's set on it.
Yeah,
He's set
Right.
that he's gonna make games, and I'm like, okay. I'm also gonna be a YouTuber, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try and support you as best I can, but like, obviously, I've got no knowledge outside of playing with Blender in my spare time for STL files and stuff, and I'm like, I can't help you. I'm sorry, I don't know.
All right. Well, I'm gonna start by saying the barrier to enter game development has never been lower.
Oh, really?
E- Engines are mostly free.
Yeah, with
If you
like
get
Unity and
into
all that.
Unity and Unreal, absolutely, like you can do hobbyist game development for absolutely free. The problem arises when you start to scale up and look for profit, for profit
Yep.
and turning it into a business that might feed your family, for example. But when you scale back to just a hobbyist or you and your friends making a game,
Mhm.
Unity, Unreal, Godot, free engines. It's never been more easy. And the truth is, you don't need anything. You really don't. You just sat down and say, I want to make a game. What kind of game do I want to make? I want to make
Wanna
this kind of game. And you start by breaking it down. Just like everything else, you just sit
Mhm.
down and break down the tasks
So
into
I guess the
consumable
one
bits.
thing that you do need there is motivation.
Yeah, absolutely. You need to be
It's
very
like you don't need
self-motivated.
anything; you can just do it. Yeah, but
Yes,
For
but
you,
like
yeah,
for
you
me
can do it.
personally,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Like if I wanted to sit
You can
down
sit
tonight and
down two
design a
hours a
game,
night. Yeah, you can sit down 2 hours a night. You can sit down an hour a night and just do it.
no,
It's
of course.
it's not something that requires uh, whatever. You don't need tools for it. Like you have a computer, the game engines run fine. It's not that hard of a software to run. You
Mhm.
don't need a beefy computer. You don't need 100 and something gigs of RAM. You don't need a super beefy CPU or a GPU. I am doing my game dev on a 1660.
Yeah, that's what
Oh,
I've got.
nice.
You don't
It-
you don't need that much.
yeah,
Before
no, of
that, I was
course.
doing it on a 970. So
Yeah, well, in my son's computer, I think it's a 960. So it's like it's not
perfectly
the
fine.
best thing in the world, but
Go and download him, Godot.
I think he's already got Unity.
Oh, there you go. Just get him to
I
smash
think it's
onto
his
it.
CPU that's a piece of work at the moment that needs a bit of upgrading. But that's a excuse me, that's a tomorrow's problem. But no, that's good to know
I
that.
have been seeing a lot of people, sorry, getting into it a lot more. And people who haven't done it before. So, for instance, there is a streamer at the moment, Taijiro,
Mm.
and he is an artist. Mostly streams art stuff, but uses Godot to do all of his animations.
I've actually heard of Godot.
All of his animations. So he's got little mini games in his stream that all the chat can interact with. His avatar on the stream, his VTuber model, is all controlled with a controller. He controls it while
Oh,
he's
that's
sitting there.
cool, actually.
So all of his expressions, all of his and he's walking, everything is controlled with the controller. So he's basically playing a game on stream that no one knows, and he's developed it all in a game engine. So all of his characters move around. They've
I
got
have
timers.
seen that a lot of VTubers and stuff design their own models, and like some of them pay for them, but a lot of them design their own models on stream.
It's insane, and and that's what you're talking about with the barrier to entry, because he initially all he was doing was animating.
Yeah.
And then the files got way too large for OBS. He had hundreds of sources, and OBS was just going, I can't do this anymore. I don't like doing this. And he was like, well, I've got to figure out a different way to do this.
Yeah, of course.
So he just runs a game engine and basically plays a game on stream, but it's just him just chatting.
So that's really cool. I really like that idea. It's like hey, come and chat with me while I mess around in this game engine.
Yeah.
Like
He plays games occasionally. So he might play Pokemon, and in his scene, a small DS will pop up and it'll come out and it'll have the game and his animated character playing the DS.
So that's really cool. I like that.
It's really, really cool. And I think game development in that regard, there's a lot more people looking into that now, because that's something really interesting. You can develop a game that's interactive, not via controller, but via. I mean, there's been a lot of Twitch integration, but not to that level. I don't feel where you as a streamer and you as your community have got control of everything.
No, I don't think that there is that level of integration. Not yet, but there probably will be soon.
So on that note, that'll be cool to see what happens in the future with streams.
That'd be a really cool thing to try and implement with ours.
It would be, but
on another note that is also related to the barrier to entry of game development, you have now visual scripting that is pretty okay to use.
Mhm.
Before that, it wasn't very efficient. It wasn't very like a couple
Visual
of years back. But
scripting.
right now, visual scripting, Unity's
What
visual
is?
scripting, and Unreal's blueprints.
Oh,
Though
yep.
this is it's a
Excuse me.
blocks
Sorry.
of logic that you can connect to each other and make stuff do stuff.
Yep.
You can make the whole game in visual scripting. It's probably gonna be a mess, but it doesn't matter if the game runs.
Yeah, I had
It just
to.
doesn't matter if the player doesn't see it. It doesn't matter.
When you said the blueprints and stuff, I immediately recognized what you were talking about. I was like, "What's visual scripting?"
Scratch uses that.
Yeah.
There's the coding game for,
You can do it in
for
Blender as
kids.
well.
Yeah. There's a coding game for kids. They use it
Yeah.
at schools. Is it called Scratch? Yeah, Scratch. And it's literally you just grab a block
Yeah,
of logic, drag it down and says if this happens, this does this and
Yeah.
this does that. And then you can play
It's
around
it's a
simple
really
logic.
cool thing. Yeah,
Yeah. And a lot of schools in Australia are doing that at the moment. Actually, it's starting to become a
well, they kind of have to get with the times because
Yeah,
that's
yeah. Oh yeah, back like when we went to school.
Wow, we had to write all our own code.
I was still playing with stamps, like grade 2, and it's like
Oh yeah, in primary school, yeah.
Stamp.
I think the most technological thing I did in high school was change what the screensaver said,
oh, nice.
and it was usually not very nice things.
Yeah, fair. At school, yeah. Oh, at primary school, yeah.
A game
nice.
development class, yeah, that's cool.
We
In a
didn't.
primary school,
We
no,
didn't.
I didn't.
Yeah.
We had it in high school or something like it anyway. But you know, went back when Flash games and Flash was HTML coding and all that was big. Can't remember how to do any of it.
Yeah, like I said, the barrier to entry is buried into the ground at this point.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's just, it's
I might.
easy, really simple. The visual scripting thing helps a lot. I do it a lot.
Mhm.
I'm not a coder, so I don't program. I have some idea of what's going on, but I don't know the syntax. I don't know any of that. I just sit with blocks and just say, okay, if that condition is met, I'm gonna open a door to there. If that condition is not met, the door is gonna open up over there.
So
So
essentially, you're playing with digital Legos.
yes,
Or sorry,
absolutely,
or maybe not
absolutely. You're
Legos,
spot
Meccano.
on.
The digital Meccano.
No, but you're spot on. Exactly that. It is digital Legos. Like
It's
you
like I don't know what any of
stack
this
on top
does,
of
but
each
mash
other.
it all together. Something fun will come out of it.
Okay, so speaking about our games, so tell us a bit about the current project. So we've got Overrider.
All right.
I've looked at this a few times now. I need to download the demo. I was meant to do it this week and actually give it a shot. But this week has been hectic for me. But I'm keen for it. I'm really keen for it. Tell us a little bit about the game and sort of what to expect.
All right. So the catchphrase I really like to use is this is the fastest roguelike in the West. You will not find
That's-
anything faster on the market.
I like
Overrider
that for a
is a
catchphrase.
fast-paced action RPG. It's not an RPG. It's a roguelite. It's fast-paced. It's based on speed. It has a smooth movement system. It is very. Well, I'm gonna use the term movement
Did you say
based.
schmovement?
Yeah, smooth movement.
Nice. I
Yeah,
like it.
smooth
I
movement.
love that.
Yeah, and it has a neat mod system. The power-ups that you get and how they interact with each other, I think, is very neat. It is open world, and you get levels. It's very much inspired by Risk of Rain, Sonic,
Mhm.
and
Ooh.
SSX and Jet Set Radio and those kinds of old school titles that are very, very fast and smooth as well. But yeah, you should definitely give it a go. It's very fun once you get used to it. Maybe it's a bit complicated at first. We still need to work on that, but overall, you smash robots, you progress through a world, you try to get home with your character,
So there
and
is
the
a
whole
story
experience is
involved in
very
it as
fast.
well.
There is a story involved, although it is a unfinished iteration of the story right now in the demo. It's very limited.
Yep.
there's more to it that we've broken down but have yet to implement. And we are on Kickstarter. And if you would like to support us, I will possibly have the link ready.
Yeah, definitely. Send us that
No,
link
well,
as well. So we can
the little
put that in
trailer
show
that Ant
notes
showed
too.
me was really cool. That one you showed me, the trailer?
Yes.
Yeah, no, it looked like a lot of fun. Like it would be something that I would like to play.
Oh, did you want to if you want to DM that to the channel, Danny, and we can pop it into the chat there.
Yeah, of course.
No, yeah. So if I will say, if you are looking at it as well, make sure to watch that trailer because it like every 3 seconds something new happens and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
and it's just like an upgraded experience the more you watch. Because initially I seen it and I was like, oh, it's similar to that board sliding game that we played at PAX. Oh, that's really cool.
Which was
And
like
then-
was that the Witch?
No, not
Tony
the Witch
Hawk one.
The other one that we played, the one that was a little bit more well refined than the Witch.
Ah,
one.
yes.
And then I seen
So
I saw the character hit
the robots,
hit a robot, and I see numbers coming up. I was like, hold up.
the fighting.
Then
Yeah.
there's fighting.
Yeah.
And then the mods, and I was like, wait, there's a progression, like there's an unlockable progression system, and it just keeps getting better as the trailer goes along. So if you are watching it, just keep an eye out on those smaller things because it looks phenomenal. It's definitely one of those games where I can see myself sitting down to play it.
Oh,
and then
definitely.
losing 6 hours and going.
If it is the sort of thing
shit.
that I think it is, it'd be the kind of game my son would love.
Yes, yeah.
Like it'd be something that he'd play for a few hours a day at minimum on end, just learning the game and grinding it out and getting those results and rewards and
Yeah, 100%. So is it looking to only come out on PC, or have you looked into other areas
We
as
have
well?
looked into Xbox and PlayStation, and
nice.
if certain goals are met, we're gonna have the ability to do that. But for
Yeah.
now, we're just focusing on Steam and finishing the game, and that's
Yeah.
that's the focus for now.
Which is more than
But
enough.
what I'm gonna say
Oh,
is
definitely.
we've made a lot of effort to make it as replayable as possible. So we have about 30 mods right now, and you can equip only 4 in the demo. So you have a bunch of combinations that you can do and a bunch of strategies that you can employ. We have different loadouts, so gameplay changes with each loadout equipped. We have perma progression, of course, as any roguelite does. And we've really tried to focus on replayability. You can get, I would say, about 3 to 4 hours out of the demo alone.
Yeah. Beautiful. Which is a good length for a demo,
Oh, definitely.
in my personal opinion.
I find like it's that amount of time is good enough for you to be invested, but not so long that you get burnt out playing it.
Yes. I found that because I downloaded a bunch of the games from the Steam Next Fest.
I still haven't touched half of them.
And some of them were really good in their length. Some of them were just way too long.
Or way too
long.
short.
Or some of them were like 5-minute experiences where I was like, I'm not actually left to want to know what happens
You don't get
next.
to experience the game's mechanics at all or the world itself. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, for like 4 or 5 hours is a good. There was one that I played for like 2.5 days. Not straight, but like I'd play it during when I could play it. And then I'd stop it. I'm like, was this a demo or did I buy a game?
Yeah.
And then I come back to it the next day, kept playing it, and I was like, I'm gonna have to check my account and see what's going on.
I like the games that are demos where you forget that they're demos and then you get really angry at the end because like, no, this is a demo. Where's the full
it comes up
game?
with that. Thanks for playing our game. And you're like, no,
Give me the full game now.
I need that.
I really like that, even though it aggravates me.
Yeah. Well, I used to get that with you remember the magazines that came out and they had like the demo discs for like PlayStation and PC had them as well. I used to get that with those. We used to pick up one a month, and we'd come home, pop the demo disc in.
Play all the different demos.
Yep. And then me and my brother would play those demos on repeat for the whole
same.
month.
I think before I bought my own, the first time I played Diablo was a demo.
Yeah.
And I think it was a 30-minute demo or something like that at the time, which in Diablo is a lot.
Yeah.
I played that over and over and over and over and over again. But it's also the same. You could probably similar. It's like when we had the Nintendo, we didn't have a save pack. So I played the first hour of GoldenEye again and again and again and again and again.
Well, I did. Oh man, what game?
So
was it?
you could treat it like sort of like a demo.
I just had it in my head, but Warcraft 3. I've played the first scenario of that hundreds of times.
Yeah,
hundreds of times. I just and then I got a copy.
Yeah, you bought it. Yep. Yep.
I got a copy of it. And
it's a CD burner.
And then I played the second scenario, and it felt weird, so I went back to the first scenario.
Had to go back to your roots. Yeah.
And just kept on playing it. But man, I used to love those demo things.
I did as well. I kind of miss the games that don't have demo. Like some do, but I kind of miss demos.
Yeah, same here. I've been going through a lot more recently.
Yeah,
Do you find
demos are tricky though?
They are.
I
Yeah.
can imagine. Yeah, it'd be hard to pick what to include into a demo.
It
really
hard
would,
to pick what. I remember those discs were full of malware. You install a demo, and then your browser has like 5 toolbars included.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It was mum's computer. Mum had to deal with the malware bars and the would you like to buy this that constantly scrolls and you can't get rid of.
Yeah. Ding,
I remember I opened up, I think it might have been my grandma's computer or one of my family members' computer. And, it was like a little 26-inch monitor. It's pretty standard for back in the day. Half of the browser was filled up with those toolbars.
Yes, yeah.
So you only had this tiny little screen to actually browse. And I'm like, what are you doing?
My
Close.
My grandma got a PC because this is really weird, actually, now that I think back to it. Grandma never really got into video games. Like she never really but when the kids when my dad was little, they got an Atari and they got this racing game. Grandma was like massively into it apparently. That was like some nights you'd get home from school and grandma's nowhere to be seen. And like an hour would go by and they'd be like, all right, well, we probably should go and look for her. And she'd be holed up downstairs in this little basement they had. And she'd be on the Atari playing this racing game. She's like, and she gets so frustrated. But when later on in
That's
life,
adorable.
I was like 8 or 9 or something, and she got a computer specifically for V8 supercars, and she had like a little steering wheel and everything. It was so cute. You'd be sitting this little old lady who struggles to walk sometimes, and she'd be like.
See, that'd be really successful on Twitch these days.
and then but once I got the internet, it was like it was summer school holidays, so we had those massive breaks. 1 week we went there because all of our family sort of lived in a similar area, and grandma's PC was good. They got the internet. The next week we went there.
Grandma's PC was bad.
Holy, it was bad. And she's like telling me about all these things that she's won and all these people trying to talk to her. And I'm like, I'm like 9 at this point, and I'm like, no. I know that's bad. Don't do that.
Stranger danger, Grandma. Stranger danger. The Nigerian prince doesn't have $1 million for you.
Yes, exactly. And it's like,
But then on the other side of the world, the Nigerian prince going, I wanted to give her $1 million.
Nobody
wants my money. Why is he Italian? I don't know.
But and she's still so she's from Europe, and she does a lot of Skyping back and forth. So she needs a laptop, and every time I go down maybe 3 times a year.
She should stream V8 supercar games.
She wouldn't be able to do it these days. I go down
She'd
there
be
like
rich.
3-4 times a year, and every time I go there, she's like, Anthony. I'm like, yeah. She's like, I need some help with my laptop. And I'm like, oh, what now? What have you done? And it'll be like, it's like running super slow, or there'll be pop-ups coming up everywhere, and I'm like, "Ugh, Grandma, what are you
Stop
pressing?
clicking them
Why?"
email links.
Yeah.
You haven't won it.
And there was one specific time that this is a complete segue, like sidetrack. But anyway, her
That's okay.
cousin,
That's what we're here
or one
for.
of her cousins, moved away from where they're from to Hawaii.
Nice. Jealous.
Well, we're still not sure whether this actually happened or not.
One of those dementia stories.
It was no. It was on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
So we've seen some photos of Hawaii and everything like that, and
was Facebook official?
And she posted these pictures, right? On these links.
Oh.
It was like something about it's easy to do, and it was like targeting specifically people moving from where they're from. So moving from Hungary to Hawaii. It was this very specific thing. Grandma was like, "Oh, interesting." Click. And the next thing I know, I get a message from Grandma saying, "Hello, friend." And I was like, and she was like, "Could I interest you in possibly moving to Hawaii or whatever it was?" And it was like a copy and paste thing. And I was like,
yeah.
Grandma?
No, Grandma. No, you cannot.
Ring up Grandma. Hey, Grandma, your Facebook's been hacked.
I don't know my little brother, actually.
Happened to your little brother?
Yeah. He had it all done. Somebody sent me a bunch of links for this a veterinarian army vet style thing. And I'm like, no, he's never expressed any sort of interest in this, like, ever. I don't think he's had a sudden epiphany to join up with a charity. I sent him a message. I called him, "Hey, mate, what's going on with your Facebook?" And he's like, "I don't know. It's not me."
It happens a lot more often than what...
it's crazy how much it happened.
Two-factor authentication is a need these days.
Oh,
we had a relative
time.
had their bank account done because she clicked a link on Facebook.
Yeah, they
lost a lot of money. Got it back, but
as well.
Yeah.
Have you guys taken any games to any shows or anything like that? So, like, I know we're like at DreamHack and PAX and things. We always see indie games. Have you been able to do that with your games?
Right. Except for the E3 showcase, and that was digital in 2021. We haven't been able to take our games, or there was a local one a way back, but we are planning to go to Gamescom this year.
Oh, nice.
Try to showcase it there.
Yep.
In Germany. So
that'll be cool.
Yeah, not really, but we are trying.
So we go to Germany this year?
Oh man, I wish. I wish. Is it? Feel free not to answer this if you don't want to. Is it expensive to get to those things? Like, obviously travel costs and everything.
Yeah,
it would be. But is there any other, like, what's the process of getting to something like that? Because I see games getting there, but I have no idea
like
how they
booth application styles. Yeah.
It depends on which convention you want to go to and what kind of involvement are you getting from it. For example, if you're a speaker at GDC and GDC has invited you, of course it's going to be much less expensive. But if you're trying to, there's a lot of spots that are sold. Like, you can buy a spot at a booth. You can buy a booth on itself. There's all these kinds of pricing options where you can get your game in there. You could get invited if you know the right people and if you know some inside stuff. There's, of course, a lot of the bigger studios get guaranteed spots. That's no secret. They get us a booth specifically for them, and they are in a different lounge, maybe stuff like that. But it is quite expensive, I would say. It is definitely a 2 or 3 people salary type of deal.
Yeah.
No, of course.
For
which makes sense
on the big conventions. Yeah, of course.
it's expensive for us to go. I can't imagine what it'd
Oh,
be like
yeah.
setting up a
Yeah, because then you've got
game.
any sort of travel costs, you've got accommodation costs, you've got to pay for your food,
Yeah.
any sort of travel around the
Well,
sort of place that
pay
you're
for
going.
setup. Look at
Yeah, you got
most
to
of
pay
the
for all
games
your.
look at Into the Dead.
Yeah,
That setup was
really big.
boom. It
Yeah.
was insane. They had
All the props. They had a nice
booth.
little area. They had a little couch that replicated one of the scenes inside the game.
And then even some of the smaller ones, think like
The Wombat game.
the Wombat game. Like even just having the
Like they had their branding and stuff up.
Yeah. It's it'd be a lot of money. Like
Oh, definitely.
that's why I'm saying like we don't have to take that stuff, and it's expensive for us to go. So
Yeah.
I can't imagine what it would be like to actually set something up there.
But they're also going to stay at their booth.
Yeah, that the staying at the booth and the rotations are pretty. Like you can get a 16-hour shift there.
Yeah, I was saying, well, like
Easily.
PAX goes like for what 9 till or 10 till 4 or 10 till 5 or something like that. And most of those people are at the booth all day.
There's no way.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, like they obviously they got more than one person to man the booth, but like a lot of the ones that we walked around, it was the same people at the booth. I'm like,
I mean, to be fair,
and on top of that, you get. On top of that, you're saying the same stuff
over and over and over and over. Yeah.
Over and over and over and over and over. And it's like
by the end of it, you master the speech.
Yeah, you don't even know what you're saying. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. You just got into zombie mode. You're like, our game is a.
You got to say it with enthusiasm.
Yes, exactly.
There was one guy that I seen at during the media hour at PAX, and he gave me the spiel. He was like, our game is this. And we walked past about maybe 8 hours later, and you said, tell us a little bit about your game. And I was like, oh, I was here before. And he was like, so our game is about basically, and he's like, sorry, it's just been a really long day.
Well, he didn't have to tell me. You could have been like, oh, I was here.
I didn't think you were going to ask you.
Well, obviously I hadn't been there.
And you can see some of them by the end of it. There was literally one guy on the last day there, and he was just just chilling. He was having a good day. And I was like, tell us a little about the game, and he's like, man, at this point I don't even know what this game's about. He's like, there's cards there. He's like, have a look at the screen, have a little bit of a play. He's like, I'm wrecked. He's like,
but I like that though.
Yeah, so do I, because it's personable. It's personable.
It's relatable. Makes me want to play the game.
Yeah.
It's like I feel bad for you, so I'm going to play this.
The current game that is available for demo is called Overrider. Dreamteck also has Life Slide, which is also a paper plane. The way I look at it is a. I'll let you actually explain it in a second, but it looks like an amazing environment that you get to fly a paper plane through, dodging obstacles. Paper plane, but it looks stunning. It looks absolutely beautiful.
The way that I'd describe it is sort of like a cozy, chill, sit back with a few stressful moments, paper plane kind of adventure.
Are we close?
Nope.
No. Yeah.
You're gonna get your ass handed to them.
Take the floor.
What do we got? Tell us a little bit about.
So that's basing it off a 30-second trailer.
Life Slide. Tell us a little bit about Life Slide as well.
Well, we have a little bit of an issue with that game, right? Like, you've explained what you saw, right? That's what the game, the trailer communicates. But it is a lot more challenging than you would expect.
Oh, of course. Okay. Like, you guys have made the game. You guys know all the tips and the tricks and the where to fly. And, you've got to make the trailer look good.
Yeah.
Whereas I imagine...
It is a very much...
Sorry, you go.
Okay. It is very much it has a disconnect between what it presents itself and what it is. It is different in a way that it is challenging. It is a lot more unforgiving in your with your actions. And if you take too big of a turn, you're gonna lose speed and you're gonna fail. If you hit an obstacle, you're gonna fail.
I imagine my first 10 minutes in the game is going to be spent me smashing into things that I don't want to hit.
Okay, now, yeah,
Now
now
it
I
makes
can
sense,
see
huh?
that in the trailer. Yeah,
There
yeah,
is one scene where one part of the trailer where I think it's in a slightly like B-52 looking at paper aeroplane where it goes and it hits the jump boost, and all of a sudden it's sort of like looks like it's about to fail, but it hits the jump and it goes, boom, launches off up into the air like.
Okay, so it's more of a skill based. Well, I'm
It
assuming
is
now.
more of a
Wow,
skill base.
it's like overrider, more of a skill based movement through a level style thing without the combativeness.
I didn't mean to make my explanation come across as it looks easy, because like I would have got into it and I would have been like trying to fly, trying to hit those boosters and then just smashing straight into the wall and being like, I'm pissed. I'm shit at this game.
Yeah, you will find it more difficult than you'd think.
Mhm.
It definitely is skill based. It definitely has a lot of challenge. Although we've tried to minimize it and introduce challenges gradually throughout the levels,
Mhm.
but it's still, you don't have an engine. If you point your nose up, you're gonna fail. You're gonna lose
Mhm.
speed. Definitely, there's no going around that. And it's very touchy. Let's say one
Very
little
sensitive.
mistake and you're out. Yeah, very sensitive. Yes.
This sounds like. Actually, you know what?
It sounds like an Anthony kind of game.
Yeah, it does, but more so, this sounds like a good game to do on the podcast
Oh yeah, definitely.
because that trading back and forth, seeing who can get
The furthest,
is the games we've been looking for. I'm gonna write
Anthony's
that
excited.
Yeah,
down.
and
Yeah, I'm really excited now.
Lifelight has been pretty popular with speedrunners actually, which
Oh,
is
of course, yeah.
interesting
That would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, trying to find all
because you
the
can get through
perfect
the whole
routes and
game without dying.
oh, really?
Challenge accept. No, I'm just kidding.
The next 15 hours of
We do have
Anthony's
an
life.
achievement.
I
We do have an
yeah.
achievement for completing the game without dying. We have an achievement for that, and it's
Oh, nice.
very,
So
I
it is
think,
achievable,
23%
yeah.
of players. Yeah, it is achievable, definitely.
I think we'll definitely have to pick up both of them.
Oh, definitely.
They're good. The first thing I noticed when I did see them, when we first spoke and you sent them through, the first thing I noticed was these would both be good for our post-stream games
Oh, definitely, yeah.
because they're the type of game we've been looking for. It's those things where you can play it, one person can play it, interact, and the other person interacting with chat, and then once you failed that part,
Swap it, yeah.
swap it over. Or if you don't fail
yeah.
it, there's a bar that can be raised, sort of thing. So is there anything else that we've sort of come to the end of our questions?
I don't have any more, yeah. No, I've asked the ones that I felt I needed and thought of on the spot.
On the spot.
On the spot.
Is there anything else you would like to sort of announce or let us know? Is there any upcoming events or anything like that?
Well, the only thing I can think of right now is the Kickstarter. We are trying to push for it. Go look for it, follow it. Everything helps. Wishlist the game. Like wishlists are more helpful than to indie devs than you might expect. It is really
Of
important to
course.
have as much wishlist as possible. And yeah, if you have any more questions, I would be happy to answer. But that's the thing that is on the stage right now for me is Overrider and it's Kickstarter, and that's it.
Beautiful. We'll put links to everything in the show notes for the podcast, in the description section on YouTube, and we'll pop it up on the Twitter as well for those watching live.
100%.
Thank you so much for joining us. This has been awesome.
It has,
this has been our first
Thank you very
game
much for
dev.
having me.
It's been amazing. And thank you for reaching out.
It's definitely outside of our normal ballpark, or at least what we were aiming to go for. Like,
initially
and it's good.
we did speak about game devs.
We did,
were
yeah.
Like, at one point we'd love to talk to some game devs and see, a little bit more about, the things that we all do. Well, I'd assume most people here do play video games.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's the main thing we talk about.
They're just here for us.
So yeah, it was really exciting when you sort of reached out. I was like, I think I called you straight away.
You did, yeah.
And I was like, dude, we've got a game dev.
Yeah.
I think I sent you a message too. I was like, dude, we've got a game dev. Like, this is going to be really cool.
Yeah.
And so we've been really excited about it. Good point that our producers just brought up is if anyone wants to reach out to you guys to ask questions, where would they go?
We have a Discord. We have a Twitter. But mainly we are most active on our Discord. We answer questions there. We interact with the community. We have a Discord channel for everything.
Beautiful. So we might include that somewhere as well.
Yeah, of course.
I don't want to send too many random people towards you, but but people who are interested, definitely go and check it out.
Send all the random people.
So
yeah, the random people.
You just get like a whole bunch of people coming in and going, where am I?
what is this game?
So yeah, once again, thank you for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. For those listening on the podcast, like I said, everything will be in the show notes if you want to check out anything more. Next week, we are going to be at Dreamteck. So there will be no live podcast, but we are podcasting live from Dreamteck. When I say live, I mean at the actual event. So the episode will still go up on the Tuesday, but it will not be streamed on the channel.
And I'm pretty sure there'll be a sneaky extra episode in there at some point, won't there?
Yes. But also, I do believe on the Friday night, we'll most likely be live streaming from Melbourne.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
If we get a chance. So keep an eye out for that. Thank you all for listening and watching and keeping
Just
up with
being
everything.
here.
And
we love you.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.